I'm Katie Crowther. Marquette held a mass of remembrance for James Foley today and is making sure his legacy lives on at the university. His parents were in town for a special unveiling. Todd Hicks has that story.
The Mass is just the first of 3 events this month at Marquette University to remember James Foley. An emotional mass of remembrance at the Church of Jesu for Marquette alumnus James Foley.
Look mercifully on your departed servant James.
His parents, John and Diane Foley, making the trip to Milwaukee Sunday to take part.
God gave him to us, but Marquette really opened his heart.
The journalist graduated back in 1996 and was kidnapped in Libya in 2011. He was later released. Foley was murdered by members of ISIS last year after he was abducted a second time in Syria. His parents say the thought of what their son went through comes to their mind every day.
He probably always will.
We always will. You know, Jim challenges us. As parents, being our oldest son, I don't think we knew what a man of courage and compassion he had become.
The fact that you continue to hear about Syria and ISIS on the news every day, it just tells you that this is something that's not going away. And at least here at Marquette, neither will the memory of James Foley.
This painting of James Foley will now hang in the Alumni Memorial Union.
We're just so grateful. Just all this goodness and support makes all the difference.
Another event will be held here for James Foley next Sunday on what would have been his 42nd birthday. At Marquette University, Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4.